Kidnapped and driven to the middle of nowhere with your grave already dug out right in front of you. And the only thing you can think about is Lalo.
Lalo didn't send you? No, Lalo!
And upon hearing from the men that kidnapped you that they have nothing to do with Lalo, you thank God.
Oh, thank God.
And instantly stop panicking, even though you're tied up and there's a gun still being pointed at your head. Yeah, he had to go. So originally, I planned on making this video about the 4 main Salamancas, Tuco, Hector, the twins, and Lalo. But I thought to myself, nah, he deserves his own standalone video because he accomplished a feat that not many characters have under their belt. And that's being named before his character was even fully thought out. Actually, now that I think about it, Nacho actually does the same thing in the exact same scene.
You think of me.
But forget about him because this video is about Lalo and how his evil essence was so powerful that he manipulated the minds of Vince Gilligan and Peter Gold into actually being an on-screen character. But instead of starting Lalo's story from the beginning, we're gonna start it at the end because you can't scroll one video about Lalo without someone saying, "Oh, Lalo died to the plot." Professor Dumbass. Of course he dies to the plot of a show that he's not featured in and takes place after him. But seriously, how did people want him to be written off? Have him turn to Jesus, give him some black sitcom ending?
So when right go wrong, just say a little prayer, get your money, man. Life goes on.
I'm hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you away and be hopeful.
No, he had to go. But I think what people are more frustrated about when it comes to his death was that it was kinda dumb. He has Gus at gunpoint, but then Gus turns into the Dark Knight, activates his night vision, and kills Lalo in the dark. I could see how if you love Lalo, you'd be like, damn, that's how they write off this invincible character.
No, not yet.
But we aren't gonna act like this man didn't survive a home invasion by 6 mercenaries. The mercenaries get into the home due to Nacho leaving the gate open, and while he's arguing with one of the guards about the plate of grease that was cooking on the stove, he sees a mercenary about to shoot him from the window. So he uses the guard as a shield, grabs a hot plate of grease, and douses it into one of the mercenaries' eyes and knocks him out. It might not look hard at first glance, but you gotta have some precision to hit this as accurately as he did. Then another mercenary comes in, and all I gotta say is typical NPC henchman vibes from this guy, just shooting aimlessly, hoping that he might hit Nacho. Even after Lalo leaves the room, he's still spraying and praying. And Gus hired these guys, the most meticulous and calculated character in the show. Crazy. But he's then able to escape through an underground tunnel. But this is Lalo Eduardo Salamanca, and he walks directly back into that house to finish the mercenaries. And he knows exactly where the mercenaries are going to be because he purposely left the hatch door open so the mercenaries would follow his trail. So first he takes out the mercenary waiting outside the hatch door. Then he peeks down the tunnel, sees the mercenary calling down, and mows him down with his AR. Y'all don't understand the level of shock I had watching this. I actually started to think he was invincible because this was like a John Wick level feat taking place in the Breaking Bad universe. Crazy. But the funniest part of Lalo's whole character arc is that he probably wouldn't have shown up if Nacho didn't paralyze Hector. So by removing one Salamanca, he just spawned in another. And the way he was terrorizing the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico is probably the closest thing we will ever get to a John Jones biopic. First off, poor Nacho, because he was the one who constantly had to deal with this dude.
Help me, nigga!
And after completing one of the most nerve-wracking tasks in the Breaking Bad universe, his reward was an even more intrusive and in-your-face Salamanca. At least Hector would just drink his espresso and read his newspaper during checks with just a little bit of gaslighting.
Who works for who? Huh?
Lalo, on the other hand, was just acting like an obnoxious middle schooler that constantly spammed 6-7, but instead of saying 6-7, he was just repeating names of people he was suspicious of. Werner, Ziegler.
Ziegler, Werner. Ziegler. You know how many Werner Zieglers there are in Germany? 26 now, according to Mrs. Ziegler. You.
Yeah?
Werner Ziegler, you ever heard of that guy?
And when you realize Lalo was constantly sleep deprived, all his rambling starts to make sense. But his intrigue into Mrs. Ziegler stemmed from the fact that he was obsessed in finding out the truth about Gus Fring's operation. And Mr. Ziegler was just the first step in that, because that led him to Mike, Gus's highest ranking and most reliable soldier. And a quick side note about Mike, but he's such a peak character. This wrinkled faced old man is constantly besting the main antagonist in the show, just through sheer experience and his will to provide for his family.
Gramps, you just hit my car.
You're talking to me?
I got Mr. Magoo here. You just ran into it.
No, I don't think I did.
You calling me a liar?
No. Oh, guys, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not aware of hitting anyone's car, but if I did, I apologize. So, excuse me.
He's so tough. And during his first interaction with Lalo, he does get the best of him. So Mike heads to the store to find information about Mr. Ziegler's whereabouts, and after pulling some heartstrings, the front desk clerk lets him review the footage, which leads to him looking through some vacation pamphlets that helps him find his location. But during this whole time, he was being spied on by the most non-private investigator in all of Albuquerque, New Mexico. So after being tailed for a while, Mike finally realizes he's being followed. So what does he do? Start chewing some gum. Then he lures Lalo into a barrier entry parking lot, parks his car, and slabs his chewed up gum between two wrappers. Waits for someone to start making their way out the parking lot, cuts them off so he can have a car in front of Lalo. Then jams the parking ticket machine with his gum concoction so that Lalo gets stuck behind the other guy while he's having problems with the machine. But this is Lalo Eduardo Salamanca, and he doesn't wait at parking gates, so he just rams the guy in front of him into the street. But he was too late, so for the time being, Mike is up 1-0. So now a pissed off Lalo heads back to the travel wire store and attempts to smooth talk the clerk into letting him view the security camera footage. But this time, the clerk says no, because Lalo doesn't have harmless senior citizen privilege like Mike, and also, he scares every character he interacts with.
Show me what you showed him.
You better just call the police.
So he takes matters into his own hands, climbs the ceiling, kills the employee, and reviews the footage. And I always thought to myself watching this scene, what a crazy feat. From the time the employee turns around and picks the phone up and has a slight conversation, then turns back around, Lalo is already in the ceiling without making any noise. But the craziest part to me is the landing he does from the ceiling. Usually when you land from high places, you're not supposed to land so straight-legged, or you can really mess up your knee. But with the speed he fell through that ceiling, he still does the perfect landing and absorbs the force by falling into a squat. Mind you, he's not some young spry. This man is in his mid-40s, moving like this. Crazy. But now he knows the location of Mr. Ziegler, so he gives the resort a call, and we get blessed with one of the greatest phone call scenes in TV show history.
Can stop pouring. It's very straightforward.
Kai will not.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that last part. Could you repeat that? Werner? Werner? Mr. Ziegler?
Michael, is that you?
Now, due to Lalo's knowledge of Mr. Ziegler, Don Juan holds a meeting for Lalo and Gus to meet, where Gus apologizes for hiding his plans. But more importantly for Lalo, he gets to formally meet his best buddy.
Michael, is that you?
What's that?
A handshake, a friendly handshake.
So after this, Gus and Mike are like, yeah, we need him gone. So they successfully have him arrested for the murder of the travel wire employee. But the reason for getting him in jail was just so they could bring attention to him so he would leave the US. Because even in jail, he's still a threat. And he orders Nacho to blow up Gus's restaurant. This is the same guy told Gus to his face he loves the chicken.
You're liking? Are you kidding me? This is the best chicken I have ever had.
Now he's trying to blow up his establishment. But to keep up the facade that Nacho is loyal to Lalo, Gus blows up his own restaurant. And eventually, Jimmy gets Lalo out on $7 million bail and even retrieves the money for him. So this should be where Lalo's story ends, but no, his brain is always racing, and he checks the surrounding areas of where Jimmy retrieved the money and sees his ditched car has bullet holes. So he comes back to Albuquerque and questions him 3 different times. He asks Jimmy to repeat his story.
Tell me again.
What?
Tell me again.
And just as he's about to break, Kim steps in and clutches up in one of the most intense scenarios. If there's ever a benefit to having a lawyer as a wife, this is it, because she actually gets him to leave for good. That is until the failed assassination attempt. And I'm not gonna lie, everyone talks about James Doak being obsessed with Dexter, but bro, Lalo actually has no quit. This man traveled to Germany after this just to dig some dirt on Gus's underground facility. Then he comes back to Albuquerque again, but this time he has to be stealthy about it, and he stays in the sewers just so he can spy on his laundromat. This guy must be stopped. And even after he still can't get the proof, he has one final plan to get Gus on camera admitting and showing the facility. So first, he gets to Jimmy's house, and look at how the candle just starts moving because an evil presence just walked in the room. Then he just shoots Howard. Then he gets Kim to go to Gus's house so she can shoot him, but Mike stops her and she explains the whole situation to him.
Who the fuck is that?
So now Mike has to head to Jimmy's house with some of the guards, and this was all a part of Lalo's plan to split everyone up and go get the proof at the laundromat. But then Gus talks to Kim, who explains to him that Jimmy talked Lalo out of sending himself to shoot him. So immediately Gus is like, huh? Talk Lalo out of a plan? Nobody does that. So he decides to check the laundromat out with his guard, and sure enough, Lalo's there and he squad wipes all of them. So now Lalo records Gus as he gives him a tour of his facility and even gets him to give a clear-cut confession to the Salamancas, where Gus reveals his true feelings towards them. But ladies and gentlemen, let this be a valuable lesson. It doesn't matter how well you are in control of a situation. If you have a camera in someone's face, just know they are capable of anything, because nobody likes to be embarrassed on camera.
No, not yet.